Hello, my name is Maziyah Yussof and I am from Brunei Darussalam. I'm a visual artist and I specialize in painting, pattern making, illustration, and mixed media collaging. I am inspired by nature, in particular the flora and fauna found in Brunei's natural landscape. I am also inspired by Islamic ideologies and my experience of motherhood. The themes of my work are usually around the theme of creation, nature, and fertility. In this video, I will be showing my studio space where I create most of my art. I will be showing you my process of making my signature patterns and talking about the inspirations behind them. So basically, I begin with a blank canvas and a curated assortment of pre-cut triangles.
For this example, I will begin with the tropical jungle in mind. So I will prepare different shades of green and maybe some red or yellow pops of color to represent the flowers. I use Mod Podge as the glue and sealant. I use a smooth and slightly stiff brush and a clean pot of water. And always keep a clean towel at hand. I start by placing down the first layer, which is a standard size that I personally like to begin with. As you can see, it creates a framework for where I can place down the second layer. Apart from the rules of symmetry and geometry that I must follow, this part is intuitive, spontaneous, and unplanned, and actually very enjoyable because I find it almost second nature to me. It's probably because I don't have to think too hard, because I know that whatever the outcome, it will still look harmonious and balanced, and therefore aesthetically pleasing. Each triangle gets smaller and smaller as I progress. The smaller the triangle, the more detail the overall pattern will hold. I find this process to be meditative, meticulous, and also adds a spiritual dimension of repetition and contemplation. My patterns have become a signature element of my artworks. I never truly plan out a work, but I always begin with creating the patterns first. Sometimes I envision it as a backdrop, sometimes as a centerpiece, and I tend to paint imageries around it based on a certain theme. For example, with this piece, I began with the theme of water. As I progressed, I decided to add little fish swimming around the patterns. I had this idea to have a baby swimming side by side, flowing peacefully with the current within the shimmering water. The pattern becomes part of the water. Other times, the pattern is a clear and striking centerpiece, such as this piece. Nature is connected and drawn to its creator.
I started working with patterns due to my interest in learning more about Islam. I started learning deeply about Islamic art in my final year of university. Islamic art is basically characterized by geometric and floral patterns. These patterns are a symbolic representation of God. Basically, patterns will never end unless you run out of space. And patterns can never be imperfect as long as you respect the rules of symmetry and geometry. This is interesting because since I choose to hand-cut my own patterns, it will always be slightly imperfect. But to me, it shows that no matter how hard a human tries to represent God, it is impossible because we ourselves are imperfect. I was drawn to this style of working because it challenged me. I felt that initially it severely limited my style of working. Because of that, I developed my own style of creating patterns.
And 10 years on, it is still something that I am refining, and I have yet to run out of the endless possibilities of experimenting with pattern making. I love making and creating, as personally, I feel that I communicate best through the visual language of art, particularly through the use of symbolism, imageries, and color.